I can't even keep up with all these updates. Updates for Donkey Kong, Mario Kart, Kirby, Pokemon, and now Mario Wonder. We finally get more details on what that DLC/Switch version adds to the game. And we'll talk about those other games and their updates towards the end of the video. But first and foremost, we have to cover Mario Wonder, which, by the way, I still can't believe this game is getting an update so long after its release date. It seems like the most random game to get a Switch version with DLC too. But I do love Mario Wonder, even though I didn't finish it. It's a great game, and it might be one of the last 2D Mario games we get for a long time. I think for me and many fans, the most important thing we wanted to know from this DLC wasn't necessarily what all the co-op mini-games were, but any new levels and new content to the game. And I am just kind of as unclear, to be honest, as I was before I watched this trailer. So let's go over the trailer. Seems like we have 2 islands in this new place in Mario Wonder, the first covering local co-op and the other focusing on online co-op. With local co-op, you get the same minigames, but you are limited to 4 players. That honestly does make sense. But to be honest here, we didn't really get too much information on the minigames you would be able to play, but honestly, I just see this as an absolute win. One of my favorite memories as a kid is loading up New Super Mario Bros. For the DS and waiting 10 minutes for our infrared connection to allow us to play a multiplayer game where we had to, I think, race to get stars or something like that. It was a ton of fun, and as crazy as it is that I'm saying this, I can't believe that the younger audience, their equivalent of that, will probably be these minigames in Mario Wonder. And then you have the Game Room Plaza, where you can do these same minigames but online with up to 8 players locally. Of course, they all have to have their own Switch. Or you can do the game share thing where the screen looks tiny and the bezel looks giant. Or you can play online where you have, I believe, up to 12 people. The trailer did mention though, in that game room online, which aka is the only one most people will play, there are only 6 attractions, therefore 6 minigames you can play online. Not really a huge fan of this, especially since we have to pay for this content and it isn't free. Then we have Camp Central, which is kind of interesting. This will involve challenges you receive from Toad, and this can be anything from typical find a coin stuff to find a hidden treasure or defeat a boss, but these will all take place in existing levels. It's basically just like challenge mode, you know, you get some time trials in there and you're competing for this ultra prize that doesn't, as far as I know, do anything. It's kind of just a bonus for those that want an extra challenge. And you can do these Toads challenges with up to 4 players locally, which I assume would just make them all a lot easier. Speaking of easier, before we get into the new levels, I guess, I'm still not sure, to be honest, we have to talk about the new characters in this game. Rosalina is finally here, although to be honest, the one weird thing about Mario Wonder is your different characters, unlike other 2D Mario games, don't actually have any differences between them but how they look. The only exception is Yoshi, which is essentially an easy version of the game, but it was kind of a shame this time around not to see, you know, Luigi with his slippery mechanics and higher jump and stuff like that. But now Rosalina is here, and as far as I can tell, she doesn't actually add anything new, aside from she comes with a potential Luma partner. And this Luma can only be used as a 2-player second player, so I assume this is just going to be like, you know, giving a controller to a baby, or when your younger brother wants to play, but you don't really want to let them because you know they're going to be trash. So this is essentially the same we saw in Mario Odyssey, where, you know, you can just kind of control the hat. In this case, you're just controlling Luma and you can, you know, damage enemies. It's similar to the Mario Galaxy co-op we got in the new update and new re-release of those games. And then if the game wasn't easy enough with Yoshi, Luma, now there is an assist mode. Assist mode, not only can you not take damage, you cannot even fall off the map. If you do, you will just respawn right back up. It is impossible to take damage, and I believe you can do this with any character. It's just an assist mode you have to turn on. Which, I mean, is fine, I guess. I can't imagine why anyone would ever use this though. Maybe just to record footage is the only reason I can think of. Or, I don't know, explore glitches or certain areas in levels. I'm not really sure. Okay, so what new content do we have? Well, I'm still sort of scratching my head on this. Apparently there's this new game mode where the Koopalings will spread out into different worlds, and I believe I'm getting this right, but in different existing worlds in Mario Wonder. So we're not technically getting new levels, you just have to hunt down these Koopalings in existing levels, and I assume it's just going to be new boss battles in those pre-existing levels. If this is the case and there's no true new levels, this is kinda lame. I mean, even Kirby got new levels in its Switch 2 version, you know, the one you had to pay for, just like this one. If we're gonna have to pay for stuff, I feel like we deserve new levels, not just new content in existing ones. And even though we're getting this trailer now, it's over 2 months away till we'll get this thing. It's coming out March 26th, so it's still kind of a big wait, especially on what is essentially a, you know, local minigame, an easier option, Rosalina's skin, and kind of not really new levels. It's especially weird to see this as Nintendo just updated us on Donkey Kong Returns HD and how Dixie Kong is in that game. Not only is that like a new character, but Dixie Kong, unlike Rosalina, can actually do more stuff in that game. And that update, along with the Switch 2 upgrade for Donkey Kong Returns HD, is free, but this one isn't, even though, you know, the extra content is kind of less. And we even got those DK time trials, just like we've got the Toad challenges in this one, so again, Nintendo just continue to make it really confusing which games deserve free DLC / a Switch 2 upgrade and which don't. We do see at the end of the trailer though a new power-up, so I assume that will be involved in the Koopaling levels, so I guess technically maybe they're just treated as entirely new levels. It just says it takes place in existing worlds, so who knows, maybe it's new takes on existing levels to the point where they may as well be new. We'll just have to wait and see. To be fair, I do see in the trailer that there aren't new levels for the Koopalings, but they look small and again attached to pre-existing or very similar ones. So again, only time will tell. And then like I said before this, we got some small and some kind of big updates on mainline Switch 2 games. We did also, and this was a few days ago now, but get confirmation that there will be an update to Kirby Air Riders. This won't be necessarily new content like Sakurai already told us about, but it will fix some stuff and bugs. As far as the updates to Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza, both games are now in Polish, which to be honest, I just assumed they were in the first place, but it's cool that now Polish is a language in those games, I guess. And now you can do team races in Knockout Tour when playing online in Mario Kart World. And honestly, one of the biggest quality of life changes just got updated to Pokemon Legends EA. If you didn't know, collecting Mega Shards in that game is essential. You need to collect so many of them, and for whatever reason, they capped your Mega Shards off in your bag. So you can only obtain 999, which may sound like a lot at once, but you get there, especially with the DLC, very quickly. And the game doesn't even tell you once you've got there, so you just need to constantly keep checking your bag and blah blah blah. Apparently that is fixed now, and the cap goes up to 9,999. I feel like this is okay. I mean, why not just make it 90,000 at this point? And I hope they've added a notification on when you've reached that number, but I assume not. But outside of the patch notes from Nintendo and Pokemon, they have apparently fixed the tracking of your partner Pokemon. If you didn't know, in the DLC, in one specific area, but also kind of, in my opinion, just all of them, your Pokemon don't really follow your commands properly. They'll get stuck on all the terrain and objects around them. Sometimes when you tell them to attack a Pokemon, they will do so like a minute later because they're stuck on a tree or something like that, and the whole thing was just annoying, and apparently that's just fixed now. So let me know, what do you think of all these updates? Are you going to purchase the new DLC or whatever Nintendo are calling it for Mario Wonder? Are you interested in playing Mario Kart World in Polish? Because, you know, that's really important, everybody. No, seriously, it is pretty cool.